Welcome to The Explainer. We're constantly bombarded with headlines about crime and corruption, but today we're going to flip the script. We're exploring a different kind of story about a nation's character, one that shows up in the most amazing and unexpected ways. All right, let's just jump right in with this question from a day laborer in Barshal. Now, this isn't just some random question. It's like a moral compass, and it gets right to the very heart of the stories we're about to explore. It's all about what you do when you think no one is watching. So let's kick things off with a few recent events from Bangladesh. Now, on the surface, you might think, oh, that's a nice little story. But stick with me here, because when you look closer, they start to paint this incredible picture of a cultural value that runs really, really deep. Okay, put yourself in this situation for a second. You're on your way home, you reach into your pocket, and your heart just drops. It's empty. The wallet with your entire month's salary, your national ID, your driver's license, everything is just gone. I mean, the panic would be absolutely overwhelming, right? But then that sheer panic just melts away. It turns into disbelief and then just total relief. Because when the man retraces his steps, there's the peanut seller he just bought from, simply waiting for him, wallet in hand. And not a single thing is missing. Okay, so that was a wallet. Now let's really scale things up. But here's the part that'll really get you. It's what he said when the owner, probably crying with relief, offered him a reward. He just said no. And his logic? It's so powerful. It's like the act of doing the right thing was the reward itself. Why would I take your money and cheapen that? And hey, this isn't just about big bags of cash. Check this out. On the super busy streets of Dhaka, a rickshaw puller, Aminul Islam, finds this top-of-the-line smartphone in his ride. But get this, the phone's dead. He can't call anyone. So what does he do? He actually spends his own money to get it working so he can track down the owner. And when you hear what he said, man, it just explains everything. He's totally upfront about it. He says, look, I'm poor. My family has it tough. But then he draws this incredible line in the sand. I have no greed for what belongs to other people. I just want to live with honesty. Wow. So, this is where we have to ask the big question, right? Are we just looking at a few nice, heartwarming stories that happen to make the news? Isolated incidents? Or are they hinting at something much, much deeper? Something woven into the very fabric of a culture? Well, according to the source material we're looking at, this is not new at all. In fact, if you pull back the lens and look at history, this powerful sense of integrity, well, it's been a defining feature of Bengalis for hundreds of years. And this is what I find so fascinating. You can literally draw a straight line connecting all these dots across 600 years. The observations from ancient Chinese diplomats, the story of a shepherd boy, they connect directly to the peanut seller and the truck driver we were just talking about. It's the same thread running through it all. I mean, just think about this for a second. We're talking more than 600 years ago. Chinese envoys are visiting Bengal, right? And in their official reports, their official diplomatic records, they basically gave the people 2 certificates of character. Their main takeaways were, these people don't lie and they don't cheat. That was their reputation. Okay, and here's a story that just perfectly captures that principle. So about 350 years back, a shepherd boy and his dad find this treasure. We're talking 3 big pots. And the third pot, it was filled with gems worth, at the time, 30 million taka. In today's money, that's close to $1 billion. And what was their first thought? Not, we're rich, but this belongs to the ruler. We have to return it. Okay, so this leads us to a really tough question. It's kind of a paradox, right? If this deep, foundational honesty is the real identity of the common people, then how did corruption become such a huge problem in modern times? Where did things go wrong? Well, the source material argues it all started with a major historical disruption. See, when colonial rule came in, it wasn't just about taking resources. It was about systematically taking apart the old social and educational systems. And in their place, they built a whole new structure, one designed to create a class of people loyal to them. And it was through that new system that bribery and corruption really started to take hold and spread. And that's what created this massive contrast we still see today. On one side, you have everyday people. Many of them work incredibly hard, often overseas, and they send their money back home, holding on to that traditional honesty. But on the other side, you have the legacy of that old colonial system, where some people use their positions of power to exploit the system and ship wealth out of the country. So, that's the big problem. The question now is, how do you fix it? How do you break that cycle and help a nation reclaim that core moral identity we've been talking about? Well, the last part of our explainer looks at one possible way forward. Other countries have been in a similar boat. The source brings up Singapore back in the 70s. They realized something really fundamental. Trying to change the habits of adults who are already set in their ways, it's almost impossible. So what did they do? They decided to focus all their energy on the kids, on the next generation. And the strategy is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You make things like ethics, integrity, and discipline a central part of school. You basically equip kids with this strong moral compass, and then they become the ones who bring that change home to their families. Think about it. A little kid telling their parent, "Don't throw that on the ground. My teacher said that's wrong." That's how it starts. So the big idea here is that a nation's real power, its true potential, isn't just about GDP or economic growth, it's about a moral revival. If you invest in the character of one generation, you start this positive ripple effect that can literally reshape the entire country. And that brings us right back to where we started, but with a much bigger question. We began with these small, personal acts of honesty: a lost wallet, a bag of money, a smartphone. If just one of those acts can make us feel a little better about the world, and if one kid's sense of right and wrong can change a parent's behavior, just imagine. What could an entire generation raised with that same deep integrity change? What could they build?